Hey guys, this is Billy Davidson with Davidson Pressure Wash and Painting right here in Hammond, Louisiana. Hope you all are having a great afternoon such as we are. We're actually going to be rolling out probably in the next 30 to 45 minutes, go do some parking lot striping. And then after that, if it ain't too late, we're going to go grab some pressure washing trailer and probably be back in the morning sometimes around daybreak and be a good nice night, and we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun, especially the parking lot striping. We got good bit, about 6 hours, maybe probably about 5 hours of work if we really get after it, and then we'll go grab the power wash trailer. We got a little job, it's gonna probably take about 2, and then we'll be done, wrap everything up, get it back to the shop, and call it a night. So a couple things I want to talk to you about. As you just seen the title to this video, how to beat your competition 100% of the time. I'm gonna go over a few things that could help you out with your competition. Now, I will say this out front and from the outset: if you're sensitive, if you're one of these type of people that if I step on your toes a little bit, you're gonna get offended by it. That's fine. I don't want to apologize for it up front, but I guess I will, because that's just my personality. I'm gonna shoot with you straight. But if you're that sensitive type of fella, perhaps you might want to not watch it. But I hope you do, because I think it'll help. Sometimes a little constructive criticism goes a long ways, as long as it's done, with the operative word being constructive. And I promise you, I would never want to rip on someone unless they deserve it, or unless I think it might help them. Because if it helps them, there's sometimes some people need shooken up a little bit, woken up, a little shake to wake them up, and then they off to the races. So, like I said, how to beat your competition 100% of the time. It's a lot easier than what you may think, but in one sense it could be difficult too. Just depends on your personality. But I talk to a lot of the guys out there. I know a bunch of y'all are go-getters, and sometimes you just need that little bit of nudge to keep you going, and which is very human nature. That we all are like that in a way, myself included. So how to beat your competition 100% of the time, every time, without fail, no doubt, no questions asked. You're going to do this, especially once you get a couple of these tips that I use personally. And so basically, I like to take this from the top down, how to beat your competition. First of all is knowing your competition, getting to know who you're competing against, that person you're competing against, that your so-called competition out there. So, and what I mean by that is knowing, obviously, what they're capable of. That's fairly easy to see sometimes, what they're capable of. You see their work that they do, you see the before and after pictures, and you may look at it and say, decent job. So that's not where we want to focus, but we want to focus not on their strengths but on their weaknesses. And focusing on your competition weaknesses will give you insight to be able to beat that competition 100% of the time. So, for example, your competition may not like getting up early, and it'd be easy to see if you don't see their vehicle going from the driveway. That's probably a telltale sign at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., because they don't like getting up early. And so you can do that. You can start to get up early, start to go out quicker, get out of the bed earlier, get out of the house earlier, get out there and start pushing your business cards, or if you got 4 or 5 quotes to do, do that. Returning phone calls, not letting the phone sit unattended. Those are the things that your competition weakness may be. Your competition gets a phone call and they wait an hour or two. They in the middle of a Netflix movie, so they don't call that customer back. And every time that most often when a customer's just searching, go through Google or through other forms of advertisement, I do the same thing. I'm calling people for something They don't answer the phone, I'm going to the next one, the next one, the next one. And I've heard guys say, hey, this is my time. I'm having a movie night with a bucket of popcorn sitting on the sofa, and if my phone rings, they just gotta wait. Well, they not gonna wait. So they're gonna call the next guy, and if you're that next guy, you get the job and they don't. So that is one thing that I teach a lot of these guys out there is knowing your competition's weakness. Are they answering their phone? Are they leaving their phone unintended? You know, now that being said, I know everybody's got to have their family time, got to have their private time, me included. You know, a good long nap is good sometimes. You know, a good long walk just to clear your mind, that's fine too. But you don't want to make it a constant general practice that your phone's, especially if you got two phones, your work phone sitting at home while you out shooting ball with the guys. You may miss 4 calls. So knowing that competition, your competition, is letting all these calls go to their voicemail, well, that means you can pick up the phone every time your phone rings. Another way of beating your competition all the time is knowing their weakness and knowing that your competition may have a little trouble walking into a business and handing them that card because maybe they're a little too tired, they got off of work, they done worked 8 hours, their feet is wet, they're a little sunburnt, they ready to get home, get out their dirty clothes. Man, I know the feeling. And on the way home, you see a dirty building and you like, hey, you know, maybe I should stop and give the secretary a card. But then you talk yourself out of it and you head on home. Well, that's what your competition's probably doing too. And knowing that the building's dirty and you seeing it right there dirty on the spot, stopping even though you're tired and you're ready to get home, probably hungry, you know, ain't ate all day, got to use the bathroom, that sort of thing. Take your contacts out, whatever's going on. All you can focus on is getting in that door, maybe seeing a dog, or if you got a family. And a lot of times your competition may ride right on past that place and never stop to give that business card. But if you stop, you could very well be the one to land that job that's $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. So knowing that about your competition, sometimes your competition's a little lazy. If you think your competition's a little lazy, double up on your efforts. You know, like I said, get up early, get moving early, return them phone calls, throw them bids out. Don't let these bids sit on your email 3, 4, 5, 6 days. No. Your competition may be doing that, but you're not. If you got a quote request come in, ASAP, whatever you got to do, you're getting out there looking at the job, you contacting the people, you know, feet on the ground, walking the property with them, where your competition may have never listened to the voicemail. So that's another way that you can get ahead of your competition and beat them every time. Fishing days with the buddies. I love fishing, but I promise you, I would not let fishing cost me several $1,000s. No way, no how. If my buddies are going fishing one Saturday afternoon and I know I have a big HOA deal to go power wash, I am not going to reschedule those people to go fishing. And I've seen this over and over and over again. And I've seen my competition, you know, do things like that where they call the customer and put the customer off. It's not a smart idea. You leave a customer hanging, you know, a lot of times they'll move on. You know, can you blame them? I know personally a guy that used to leave stuff sitting on his email for about 2 weeks before he would check it. And he'd check it, and by that time, that was long history. 2 weeks is a lifetime when you're waiting on a quote. So knowing that your competition may be doing that. Also knowing that your competition, instead of your competition keeping his equipment looking good and keeping his truck looking good, and, you know, I know everything get dirty every now and then, but you know, if you're the guy that keeps all your stuff nice and shiny, your customers see that. I've hired a plumber, I've hired AC guys, I've hired landscapers, I've hired roofers before, and they show up in old raggedy truck stuff. When they get out the vehicle, cups and stuff fall out on the ground, they're kicking, you know what I'm saying? Or they show up there to your house, their dashboard is full of just paperwork. Right there, you know that that guy's probably not organized as well as he could be. So if that's your competition, know that you can keep your vehicle looking good. Keep your tires Armor All. It doesn't take much. If you got a trailer, spray those tires Armor All, wax it up, clean it up. You're in a cleaning business already, so you want to present yourself. And you don't have to have a new truck. You can have one 10, 12, 15 years old. If it's got a horrible muffler on it and an oil leak, you need to probably get that taken care of, because maybe your competition does pull up there and leak oil in those people's driveway. And that is the number one way not to get a referral for sure, and a bad review. So imagine that, get a bad review and not a referral. That's an expensive mistake right there. Now, that being said, if your truck's leaking oil and you got to go to work, hey, you can stop by a dumpster and grab some cardboard, and they'll respect you for that. They see you putting cardboard on there. They're going to say, hey, the guy's struggling right now, but at least he does good work and he's trying. His competition may not be doing that. His competition is the one that's leaking the oil in the driveway, or getting out of his truck and he knocks some cups out on the ground but doesn't bother to pick them up because he's a little too tired. It's at the end of the day. He's sunburnt. He's hungry. He's got to use the bathroom. He wants to get home. So he jumps in the truck and leaves. And the customer looks out the window and sees some trash on the ground. You know, that's your competition, but that's not you. You're not going to do that. You're going to be better than your competition doing that. Another thing that your competition may do is try to rush away from the job. You know, how many times have we put away 3 or 4 house washers in a day? That first one, we do it really good, like number 10, top 10 level. The second one, we try to hit that about a 9. And by the time you get down to the fourth one, they're getting a 6. No, that's what your competition does. What you want to do, you want to push through that day and give excellent service to each one. And look, if it's 4 is too much for you, or if 3 is too much for you, and you think you can only do 2, but you can do 2 perfectly, do that, because your competition is probably trying to squeeze that third one in because he's a little greedy for money, and his quality drops way down because he's tired at the end of the day. We've all been there. A little sunburn. Your ears are stinging. You're hungry. Got to use the bathroom. You're ready to get home. Feet are wet. Man, how many times have you took your shoe off driving home, scratching your foot with stuff in the truck? That water is horrible on your feet, especially in the summertime. You know, but so don't be like your competition. Be better than your competition. If you show up on a job site, you don't have to be looking like, you know, dressed in a tux, but at least have yourself together. You know, if you shirt, pants, boots, you know, that sort of thing, some business cards, be presentable. You know, don't be getting up on close on people, acting weird and things like that, because, you know, you want to be better than your competition. You want to learn how to speak to your customers, whereas your competition may not put that effort in. They may just figure, you know, they want me. If they don't, they don't. Those type of guys, they might be in business a long time, but they're not going to do a lot of business for a long time. It'll be kind of hit and miss. Another thing your competition may do that you don't want to do is get, you know, if they happen to do pull together the nerve to walk into a building to try to find a GM or someone special in a building to try to get their information to, and they get in there and they nervous, you know, oh man, that nervousness is so detectable. I've seen it before. You've seen it before. Dave's seen it before. And it's just a strange for everybody. It's awkwardness. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you give them the business card and you got this insecurities about yourself. And, you know, you give them a business card and you forget half the stuff you want to tell them. You're not calm, cool, collective. You're not fluidly moving around. You kind of stiff. That's your competition. So what you want to do to beat your competition is you want to practice at home. This might sound silly, but if you got a wife or a girlfriend, practice that knock at the door. Hey, I'm Billy Davidson with Davidson Pressure Washing Painting. I was in the area, blah, 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 and you do your thing and hand them a flyer, a business card, or whatever. Practice that over and over and over again. I heard it said one time that repetition is the mother of skill. And so, you know, practicing that repetition where your competition, you know, he probably thinks about it a little bit in there, but he's not going to put a lot of effort in developing those communication skills. And knowing your competition really close and really personal can give you an edge on your competition. And guys, let me tell you, I know my competition super well. I know them very, very well to the T. Like, so good, it's unbelievable. And the reason why I know my competition so well is because I live with him every day. I look at him in the mirror and shave his face every day because I am my own competition. I am that guy that likes to sleep late. I am that guy that gets nervous when I walk in a building to talk to somebody. I have insecurities. My eyes have scars on them from surgeries. I was in foster homes when I was a kid. And those insecurities carry me through my life. And I gotta fight my competition. I am my own competition. I am that guy that throws stuff on his dash. Old mail, old magazines, stuff like that. And I have to be better than that guy. I'm the same guy that gets out at somebody's house and may drop a cup and my back's hurt and I'm tired and I don't want to pick it up, but I do anyway because I want to be better. I want to better myself daily. And I'm the guy that is my own competition. I am all of that, and I have to fight that daily and be better than that daily. I want to sleep late. I don't want to take the calls sometimes, but I force myself to do it, and I force myself to talk to these customers and go look at the jobs and don't put them on hold and put my friends on hold sometimes and don't get to go fishing with them and that sort of thing. So all of that to say that you are your own competition and no one can beat you worse than your own self. So beating your own competition is beating that guy that's insecure about walking in a place because maybe you got a little scar on your face or you don't quite know how to talk to people and you're a little insecure. Maybe you look funny on one side, or you think you do. But getting past those insecurities, beating that competition in yourself will definitely open doors up. Doors that lead to places that you can't even imagine right now. I couldn't 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I was fighting against myself all the time. I was my worst competition. There was days where I got rejected, and it's like, an old saying, when a quarterback throws an interception, he has to have a sharp memory. If you walk in a building and you knock on a guy's office door and he growls at you and gripes at you, you have to forget about that really quickly. If not, you will be your own worst competition. You will beat yourself every time. And knowing yourself, knowing your insecurities, whether you may have had a rough upbringing like I did, maybe you lived with nothing as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult. Maybe you didn't do all that well in school. Maybe you weren't the most popular person in school. Maybe you wasn't the most popular with the girls out there. If you're a guy watching this, we've all had our insecurities. Maybe the love of your life walked out on you. And all of that baggage will carry with you and hold you down through the rest of your life only if you let it. There's a time and a place in the day to shell all of those issues that you carry with you. And it doesn't happen overnight, but you can do it one by one piece, just throwing it off of you daily. Get rid of all of that baggage. Know that when you walk into a building, that you are secured enough in confidence in yourself that if you mess up, you will get past it. You can chuckle at yourself right in front of the people. I've done it, man. I've gotten in front of people and started spitting and sputtering and forgot what I was going to say and left out of there red-faced, my ears red as tomatoes. frustrated, got in the truck and looked at it, and I was embarrassed of myself. But I told myself, I can do better than that. I'm not going to let things that happen to me bad in my life walk with me for the rest of my life, haunting me like a bad shadow. So sometimes you have to leave all that behind, because your worst competition is your own self. Your own self will hold you down in ways that you can't get released from. You will be held down forever unless you realize that insecure self-esteem, that guy that's been beaten down through life for years, could be bad marriages, could be bad family relations, bad financial situations, it could be things that happened to you when you was young. Those things are in the past for a reason, and it's time to move past that and become that guy that can walk in there, talk to customers, give a quote with confidence. Even if you're a little high, people love confidence. People will hire you for your good work, but they will hire you more often for your confidence. And I know for sure that the guys I talk to, the guys that have the nerve to call that number every time I leave it at the end of a video, usually I can tell is the guys that's tired of letting themselves hold down themselves. They overanalyze and they unsure. They have failed many times about other things in their life, and this time they reaching out for some help, and that takes a lot for somebody to do that. And I realize that when I pick up the phone, I realize this guy's calling me most likely because I might be the only person that he can reach out to. So think about those things I'm telling you, because I am my own worst competition, and you probably are too. And there's things that you can do to overcome that and become a better version of yourself daily, a better version of yourself tomorrow, the next day, and just keep building on it. And eventually, if you put enough practice in, you'll have the confidence to walk in to meetings. As a severely visually impaired person, I've walked into meetings with 10, 11, 12 big suit and ties around me, and I didn't even have enough vision to shake their hand, to reach out to shake their hand. But they never knew it. But I found a way to get past that. Imagine if you in an office building meeting with some people over a job that you really, really need for you and your crew, and everybody around the table, wants to shake hands and greet you, and you can't find their hand in this room that's a little bit on the dark side. So I found ways to get around that. I'll tell you, one of the ways was bringing an assistant with me and having them wear a bright color watch on, because my eyes would pick that up in a darker room. And where his hand followed, my hand was right there, like right behind his, and I would let their hand come to me. Those are the things I would be nervous about. I would be nervous about, can they see the stitches in my eye? And if they do, they're going to ask about it. What do I tell them? I worry to death about it. Sometimes I would put the meeting off because of it. That insecurity, that competition in myself would not let me do it. But over the years, get to a point to where, if they ask about the scars, if I miss their hand, I don't know if you've ever done that, missing someone's hand is not fun, it's awkward. And what I mean by missing someone's hand, you stick your hand out to shake it and you're off about 6 inches and you're grabbing for air. That's a real awkward situation to be in. But you know what? It was the hand I was dealt with, no pun intended, and I made the best out of it. Hired me assistant to bring with me, got him a bright colored watch on, a wristband, something that didn't look a little odd, and every time we practiced it at home. I put in that extra effort, where my old self, my competition, no, I wouldn't want to put myself through that. I said, why to put myself through all of this trouble? So it's easy to talk yourself out of things too. So overcoming some of these issues is not easy. Becoming an expert at anything you're doing, whether you're power washing or you're parking lot striping, or if you're a roofer, or if you're a countertop guy, or I'm just looking around my kitchen, if you work on appliances, to become an expert at that, it's not easy. And the guys that do become an expert at it, and they do excel, and financially even, they really put in the effort to tamp down their insecurities and beat their self, and their self being their own competition. So guys, again, if I stepped on some toes, I don't mean to. I really mean to help people. And if this is you, if this is if you one of the guys that's a little bit unsure, a little insecure about what's your next step, will you fail, will you succeed? No one can tell you that if you're gonna fail, if you can succeed. I can tell you with the right tools, the hard work, the time put in and off the field, if that makes any sense. Not only be good at work, but be good in your personal life. Clean that dashboard up, clean the trash out of the truck, keep the truck looking good, get your paperwork straight, check your emails, return calls, text people back, on and on and on. Put those quotes out. Don't let a voicemail sit out there for 2-3 days hanging. Check that stuff, call them back. You're gonna put in the hard work. I think you can safely say that you would exponentially increase your odds of succeeding, and succeeding dramatically. Now, if you don't do those things, it's almost a guarantee exponentially that you're gonna fail. And sometimes you can fail dramatically. And you're the one that can fix it. And I can help you. So if you need my help personally, give me a call, 985-345-0778. And I'm Billy Davidson, the owner of Davidson Pressure Washing Painting. And I'll talk to y'all soon.